The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network. Imagine a place where mental health, resilience, sports, and the power to never give up all come together. This show is about life. It's about mental health. It's about bouncing back stronger than ever. This is Reset and Rise to the Unbreakable with Amanda Moore.
Hey guys, welcome back to Reset and Rise to the Unbreakable with Amanda Moore. I'm your host, Rob Francois, along with the one and only Miss Amanda Moore. Good evening, Amanda.
Good evening. How are you, Rob?
Doing well, thanks. Episode 17. We're just flying through these weeks, aren't we?
Yes. It's a little crazy. But yeah, we've had some snafus with guests, and then I've already started booking guests for January, so hopefully we can keep it going. I'm excited. So yeah, it's been super fast going. I don't even know how we got to episode 17 already, but it's fun. So, and tonight's guest, we have BrunsNick or Nick Smith. I was just looking up earlier because I was featured on his YouTube channel last year, and I didn't realize it was August 25th had been a year since I was on that episode of his on YouTube when he was trying to shoot 200 as a backup bowler himself, and he did shoot 200. So he's doing better than I'm doing lately with backup bowling. But anyway, super fun guy. He's just always really optimistic, and if you watch his YouTube channel, he always puts on the bowling charm and knows his stuff. He's super smart, and he's gotten into these videos of unboxing new balls and drilling them and laying them out for everybody to see how he goes about that, because he has a different style to how his balls are drilled for how he throws the ball. So it's kind of interesting to hear him talk about that. So anyways, we can get started and bring Nick in if you want.
All right. Please welcome our very special guest, Brunswick. Yeah, obviously.
From yeah, with
3
Brunswick.
minutes in, I already screwed it up. BrunsNick, Nick Smith. Nick, what's going on, brother?
What's happening? Rob, Amanda, how are you?
Good.
It's such an easy slip of the tongue with Brunswick and BrunsNick, and I'm talking bowling all the time, every week with Johnny Petraglia as well. So anyway, it's good to have you here, brother. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. And I just want to clear the air. Amanda, I've been called a lot of things, but charming is not something that I've ever been called.
Okay.
But thank you.
Charismatic. You're a smooth talker. It all flows, and you know what you're talking about. So you're very captivating when you watch your show, because not only do you bring the brains to what bowling is about, but you also bring entertainment for everybody as well, because you have a whole line of T-shirts out there to prove it.
A lot of those come from fans, by the way. They just usually are mean to me, and they call me names. They call me Dumbsnick. They call me Shill. You know, so
And
I'm
now
like, hey,
senior Carrie, is that?
yeah. I just did that to make fun of Phil, because that's the only kind of strikes he has anymore. But yeah, if you're gonna make fun of me, I'm just gonna profit from it. I just want everybody to know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want. You've been with Brunswick since 2003, correct?
Yeah, I started with them on regional staff. And back when I didn't even know what a regional staff was. Robert Lawrence asked me if I wanted to be on staff. And I was like, what does that mean? He's like, oh, well, we sponsor you. We give you bowling balls, and then you wear our shirts, and you throw Brunswick. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, can I still throw my Columbia Stingray? He's like, no. I was like, okay, I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, and you started bowling when you were 4, correct?
Yeah. So my grandma was quite a video poker player at Sam's Town. That's where I would go all the time. I'm not from Vegas, but we'd go there all the time. And she would send us off with a bunch of silver dollars, and she'd play the video machines, and I'd go bowl with my brother and cousin. That's how I got started. We just Vegas trips, and that's where I started bowling. Loved it.
Yeah. Well, did you ever imagine at 4 years old, or even growing up in the bowling industry and around it, that it would ever your passion would turn into a career that's exploded into what it is today?
Oh, I knew at a young age. I used to write about it in grade school of what I wanted to be, and it was always professional bowler, professional bowler.
Yeah.
So I did that. As far as working in the industry, no, I thought I would just be like the best pro ever, but didn't pan out. I squeezed too much.
Yeah, I was just saying you have a different grip system. Like your balls are drilled different. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so I use what's called the Sarge Easter grip. So what happens when you get into the pro shop business is you start tinkering on your own stuff first. That's what happens. And so, I went through all different grip changes, and then one bright Sunday morning, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try no grips. No grips sounds like a great idea. I'm just going to be old school, no grips. It's going to feel the ball. It's going to pure it. And I popped my ring finger tendon during a regional, and it was the only tournament in my life I ever had to withdraw. And
Wow.
the pain was so bad. I went to a specialist. He's like, well, there's nothing really torn. There's nothing really, you're just going to have to give it time to heal and stretch and all that. And I tried bowling again, obviously with no grip, but not the no grip, but still hurt. So then I started doing some more research, and Robert Smith lives pretty close where I used to grow up in Southern California. So I kind of picked his brain on the grip a little bit because he used it for a while on tour. So what it is it's a full fingertip grip for the middle finger only, and then conventional in the ring finger. And the ring finger is offset with a lot of reverse pitch, so that your ring finger basically just disappears into the ball. So what that does is it reduces your grip pressure, and that was my main thing. Was like I was just squeezing the ball too hard, and this grip helps me take tension off the hand, which takes tension all the way off the wrist, up the forearm, and everything. So you don't get tennis elbow, nothing like that.
Yeah, I see a lot of people, they grip. I used to do it with my thumb, and I would get a callus on the right hand side of my thumb because of the backup bowling. And that let me know I was gripping the ball too much. I wasn't allowing the ball like just to come out of it smoothly. I was trying to throw it down the lane. But I see a lot of people too, they get blisters or calluses on their middle fingers towards their cuticle lines, and then also down around their thumb on the base of their thumb, where your ball would your thumb is going to lay on top of the ball once it's inserted. And a lot of times I tell people that's because they're gripping, but I think a lot of people like me, I was scared for a long time to use tape, like tape on the fingers or tape in the thumb. There for a while, I was even wearing just the slick tape over my middle finger and my ring finger just to protect the cuticles, because when I would release the ball, for some reason the fingertip grips would almost like chafe my cuticles because I was gripping. Even with trying to release the ball as a backup bowler, I was gripping off when it was coming off my two fingers. Like I was trying to control it. So I've since fixed that. I don't have that issue, but I see a lot of people that grip the ball and it causes a lot of inconsistency, and it can also cause a lot of additional injuries or pain that you don't realize. So the Sarge Easter grip, that's what you called it. I think
I used to tape up quite a bit too, because I would bowl so much. I would bowl 3-4 leagues and then bowl regionals. For some people, like it's inevitable that their hand's going to get torn up with how many games they bowl on tour.
Yeah.
You can have the perfect grip, but just repetition is just going to tear it up over time. And those guys break down. A lot of guys do. So even the two-handers, their fingers get chewed up. You look at some of their fingers and they're in bad shape because they're putting so much force onto a bowling ball that it's just friction. Your skin's only so delicate. So calluses are going to happen. But that was the other issue I had, because I went from Sarge back to fingertip after my hand felt good. And then I started getting ingrown nails and the cuticle cutting issues. And I couldn't get to a tournament. Like day 2, day 3. Like my hand was just torn up, and then I was starting to squeeze again. So I had to go back. And so I've been back now almost 12 years now on the Sarge grip. I'm not going to change.
Yeah. So you used to work the front desk at Santa Clarita Lanes.
Yeah, that's so. I was a college kid, and I wasn't working. I'd quit my job at I was working at AutoZone because I was trying to get into the sheriff's department. Went through all the testing, and I had to quit my job to take one of the tests because he wouldn't give me the time off. He's like, well, you got to choose. I was like, well, that's an easy choice. I'm out of here. So anyway, for a while there, I wasn't working. And one day my mom's just like, hey, you need to go get a job. And she was serious about it. She woke me up early. She's like, you got to go get a job. So I went down the bowling alley, and because I heard they needed front desk help. And so I came back home like 25 minutes later. She's like, what are you doing home? I was like, I got a job. Can I go back to bed now? It's like, She's like, where are you working? I was like, the bowling alley. I'm like, I'm going to work 3 nights a week to start, and we'll go from there. She's like, okay. And I was like, all right. So that's how I got my start. Yeah.
Yeah. So working the front desk, what did that teach you about the business side of bowling?
Oh, nothing. Absolutely
Nothing.
nothing.
You just were there to have fun and collect money and see the bowlers, right?
So pretty much like, yeah, it's just like collecting money. But like, when you work front desk, you got to fill out the league recap sheet that shows all the money in, money out, and then balance it and do all the counting. I never touched any of that. So there was always another person on the desk with me who always wanted to do it. And I was like, you can do it. I'm not touching that stuff. Forget it. So
How long did you work there for?
Probably about a year and a half before I transitioned into the pro shop. Yeah, probably about a year and a half, something like that.
Okay.
So it was a fun job, and that was really my start in bowling. In the bowling industry was front desk, spraying shoes and handing out lanes and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Was there anybody at that particular time in your life or in the professional industry that motivated you or inspired you to go further? Like say down the road of doing the pro shop work or towards doing social media and the media adventure that you're on now?
Yeah. So the older gentleman that owned the pro shop, it was more of a curiosity to me to learn how to drill my own stuff. I was going to him and I was going to another guy in town, but I was like, hey, maybe he'll teach me. He's in there all alone all day, and maybe he can use a friend. So his name was John Bilderback. I think he's recently passed now. He was something like 89 years old. And he's like, sure, come on in on one of your days off, and I'll show you how to fit and drill a ball, and then we'll teach you some other stuff. And then it became like, hey, do you want to work here a couple days a week? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, for sure. And then it became, hey, do you want to work here 5 days a week? And I was like, yeah, sure. Let me go quit the front desk though. And then it was eventually like, hey, do you want to buy the pro shop one day? And I was like, yeah, let's work towards that. So that's what we did.
Yeah.
Yes, he was ready to retire. He was in his 60s.
Oh,
he was ready to get out.
Okay. And then in addition to that, you won the first 2 out of 3 PBA regionals you bowled. Yeah.
So right out of juniors, I had a pretty good junior career at the end there when I really started taking it serious. And that was right around when I got in the pro shops. I started taking bowling really serious, and I was like, I want to go pro. It's always been my dream. I'll bowl as a guest first because I don't want to get my card right off the gate, So the first regional was at Steve Cook's Fireside in Sacramento, which was like a 6.5 hour drive. I had friends local that went to a lot of the regionals, so we all carpooled, which made it a lot easier. I didn't cash in the first one. It was a rough go. I learned a lot, and then the next one I cashed, and then the next one after that I cashed. And they have a rule that if you cash twice, you got to get your card, or you can't cash a third time. Yeah. So I was like, sure, I earned it. I feel like I earned it, and so I got my card, and I think that was 2003. And it wasn't always successful. It wasn't always. I kind of took some time off after a few years. And, when I bought the pro shop, I just started doing pro shop stuff full time. I didn't want to leave. It was too expensive to leave and shut down the shop compared to what I could make in a tournament,
Yeah.
But after starting with Brunswick, I kicked up bowling regionals again, and actually was pretty successful because I just incorporated into my work travel. I would go where the tournaments were, go see the shops I needed to see, and go bowl the tournament at the end of the week. So it worked out that way.
Did you bowl any national?
Sorry.
Did you bowl any national tour stops?
I did actually try tour trials 3 years in a row. The first year they ever had it was, I think, 2003. So right after I got my card, I was like, this is it. This is my chance. I had I had Eminem's Lose Yourself playing in the background. I'm like walking in the bowling alley, and then it took like a 240 average for, God, you bowled so many games. It was like 60 something games that week just to make the top, and they only picked like 8 people. There's only 8 spots or something, and I finished somewhere in the middle, but I averaged like 210 for the week, but I wasn't even close. I was like, all right, I don't really have a chance. And then after that, like, the U.S. Open was still in Fountain Valley, so I bowled that 1 year and had no shot. Those guys are just on a different level, and I think that was the awakening. Is like, all right, I know my place in the bowling world. Like, I'm not gonna go chase that dream. I'm not gonna go kind of grind it and just cost myself money. And like, I got a future here where I'm doing good with the pro shop and my family and all that. So I'm not going to go chase that dream, but I like bowling the tour trials. Tour trials are fun. You get away for a week in beautiful Indiana at the time. But for someone that's never really traveled back then, it sounded like a great week. I was like, I'm going to fly into Chicago. I'm going to drive to this nice place called Maryville, and or Hammond was the third year I think they had it. But gosh, yeah, looking back, like I'm not that far from there now. I'm only a few hours from those sites, and they're still there. Stardust, I forget what number. There's a bunch of Stardust, but no, I gave it a shot. But I knew right away. I was like, I'm not pro level. Like I'm not there. There's no way.
Yeah,
These guys are way
there's
too good.
tournaments I've done where it puts me in my place. There's some I can go to and I feel comfortable being there because I know my level of where I'm at. And then there's other ones I go to and I'm like, I'm just here for the lesson. That's what I'm here for. Expensive lesson.
And that takes a stronger sense of self and no ego to just be like, you know what, I don't belong here. Like I love bowling, but I'm not at that level. Like I know where I can compete, and the regional levels were just a better fit.
Yeah. Well, you've been loyal to Brunswick since 2003.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to know what has resonated with that brand with you so strongly that you've been so loyal and dedicated to them over the years.
That's a good question. I mean, forever it was the history of it, right? That's the start of it. Like I grew up in the 90s bowling, all the junior events and travel tournaments and all that stuff. I had an older brother who bought a lot of bowling balls. So I got a lot of his hand-me-downs, and he bought a lot of Brunswick balls. So I had a lot of Quantums. We also had a lot of Columbia balls at the time too, because there was a lot of good ones there too.
I still have the OG 4-screen Quantum down in my garage.
Yeah. So Fire Quantum was
the teal blue Rhino.
Yeah, Fire Quantum was my daddy back then. So Fire Quantum, but it was equipment for a while, right? And then when I first met Robert Lawrence, who worked for Brunswick, he was the West Coast rep. And, it became more about the people after that, where I just befriended him, and we were 20 years apart, but we had a common share of loving bowling. And he's down home Southern Texan with the twang, and I just got along with Robert right away. I still do. Love that guy. But it just became a friendship. So when he offered to sign me, after we had a couple of visits, he came visited my shop, and I always offer to help when they did trade shows in Southern California. The trade show every year, sometimes twice a year, and then they'd go to Vegas for the mini eliminator that they sponsored. I'd always volunteer my time. Hey, I'm like, I can do anything you want. I need help. All I need is just a place to crash, and usually just crash on the couch, or if you got a double bed, I just stay in the same room. So it saved me money, and I was helping out Brunswick. But I think a lot of that goes towards just wanting to be part of the team and not having to be asked for it. I think that's just volunteering and wanting to be there. And that was a big thing for him. And the videos actually started around 2004. So I got my first camera, and I just decided I want to start filming myself bowl. I did that when I was young on my mom's, high 8 something with tapes or whatever. And I'd film for like an hour till the tape ran out, and then come home from bowling and then immediately put it in the VCR and watch myself bowl. I was like, oh, look at that shot. Oh, wow. And there's still some of those tapes that are around. My mom has them. So just this little scrawny, because I was a scrawny kid and I was short back then.
You should do a YouTube episode for yourself of the rising of BrunsNick and just show all your old videos that you have. That'd be pretty cool to see.
That'd be a rough watch for some people. But it might be motivating too, because wow, look how bad he threw it back then, and he can throw it okay now. So
well, and I've always said that, but creating videos, like I've always created videos for myself, even when I was making reels of my bowling or new balls that would come out, and I make content. It's fascinating to see yourself bowl and see what you can do different, or I was always working on trying to see what everybody else sees, because I don't feel it when I throw a backup ball. I don't feel what everyone's seeing. Mm-hmm. They're like, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't know. My wrist moves a certain way. Doesn't your wrist hurt after like 6 games? I'm like, no, I've been doing it my whole life. It doesn't.
It's natural for you. Yeah, what your mind's eye and your body feels is completely different.
Yeah.
And I've always, when I used to do some coaching and I would show them on camera, I always use cameras and video to coach, because you can tell someone to do something and they're like, oh, that felt different. It's like, no, it doesn't look different. Look at the video. Like, it's the same. You think it's different, but it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, video is such a big, important part of bowling.
Yeah.
If you're going to coach and you're not using video, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. And the student has to be open to constructive criticism. I've had people ask me for help before, and they want help, but they don't want to listen. So I'm like, how am I supposed to help you?
That's why they got to be paying customers. If they're not paying for it, then it's not worth anything.
Well, I'm working on going that route as we speak. So I'm hopefully in the next 6 months or so, I'm going to end up with that. So speaking of videos, I wanted to ask you, so you've been making bowling videos and creating content before it was even common, or before it was a big thing.
Before YouTube,
what inspired you to start posting online as much as you were before it became a thing?
I think it was always just entertainment. Nobody was doing that kind of stuff. And I actually made like some of the first early ball reviews, really, which was just at the time, just a bunch of shots going down the lane, striking, paired with my favorite song at the time, which was a lot of punk rock stuff back then. And some mixed in weird stuff, but mostly just stuff that was stuck in my head. I just put on the track, and that was like the wild, wild west. You could just use copyrighted music and just
back in the day. Yeah, you could.
Yeah, I can't now. I've had videos banned because of the music, and it's like banned in like China or Europe, but it's not here, but they'll cut out certain parts, and it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, there's one video I posted way back when. It was the CG No Matter video where I used the Muppet song Phenomena.
Yeah.
And it's like it's muted in a bunch of countries on YouTube because it's, I use copyright, but they're pretty strict on that. You can't do that kind of stuff. On certain platforms, you can actually add their catalog music, which a lot of it's corporate music and, pop music and stuff like that. But you have to go through that route. You can't just add it yourself and do it like that. But back then, what are they going to do? It's like, this is like post Napster, right after Napster. So it's like, hey, it's like, I got this on LimeWire. What are you going to do about it? No problem.
Yeah. Do you remember the first ball that you ever did a review on YouTube?
So I think the first video I ever did was actually like a funny video. It was because I had a really high backswing. I still kind of do, but back then it was really high. And someone called themselves, I think on Ball Reviews, like the real captain, like Captain Backswing. And I was like, I'm Captain Backswing. So I made a stupid video I was dubbing my grunting and my breathing over the actual video, and I'm sure I have it somewhere, but it's probably somewhere posted. So it's just like, it's the dumbest video, but that's the kind of stuff I posted. And probably the first ball review was probably like, I think the Monster Red Black might have been the first one. Now, mind you, back then, these videos were only like 30 seconds long. That's all they were, maybe a minute at most. And when they got kind of more polished, probably closer to like minute and a half after I, actually had some structure to it.
Yeah.
But no, that had to have been my first one. I mean, this is like prehistoric era. I still have my Premiere Pro 2.0 logbook, my manual, how to use whatever Premiere 2.0. I don't even know what it's on now. I think they just go by year, but I mean, this is like 2005 when I first started doing that kind of stuff.
Wow. And now your videos, like I'm fascinated every time I watch them, because they've increasingly over the last few years have gotten even better. I'm a big fan of people that don't just show strikes all the time. When I was first making reels, I just showed strikes. And then I started showing like tripping 2 pins, tripping 4 pins, leaving the 7-10 split. And more people are in tune to watching that, because they're like, oh, this ball's not perfect. Of course you want to make a ball look good. But at the same time, they want to see what the ball can't do too, and how you'll have to adjust as a player if it's meant for you. And I just love the way that you explain the science behind the ball, but also how you show the different demographics of how the ball can be utilized. So it's not just one way of like, oh, this is going to strike. You actually shift board to board, or move your feet with the board, like use the board system. And I really like watching your review videos. And then I told Rob, I've really gotten into watching your videos on you're doing your layouts and drilling the ball as well, because
every pro I mean, I could watch Belmo take the fate and strike 15 times. What's it tell me about the ball? Like, how's that
Yeah.
going to work for me? Like, a lot of pros do that. And that's another reason, again, like she said, I like your videos, Nick, because you go in depth more about it. And not every ball is for somebody. You know, you actually just go into the science of, you know, what the ball does, just instead of just throwing strike after strike. So, yeah, I mean, I enjoy your videos as well.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I learn as I go. So when I'm testing a new ball, that's the first time I've ever thrown it. You know, so I'm going to test it from every zone, and even the process of doing these reviews has changed over the last 2 years. Like it was kind of, you know, just feeling it out when I was getting back into it. Then I'm like, hey, what if I, you know, moved across all the zones to really test out what a ball can do and what it can't do? Because some balls are inherently better at certain zones than other ones, and vice versa. And sometimes bowling balls surprise me. Like certain bowling balls can just work in different zones when I didn't think so. Like you have this preconceived notion of a ball based on the specs. You know, you see it all laid out there. You see what the cover is, see what the core is, and the numbers. All right, well, this ball should do that. And sometimes that's absolutely true. But for some people like me, sometimes it changes, and certain balls are gifted, is what I call it. Is like certain balls just happen to work where I didn't expect them to, you know. And then when I started incorporating specto data into it to give everybody kind of another look under the hood of what the ball is doing with the numbers to back it up, that way you can see, oh, hey, there's some inconsistency with how I threw it, and I can pretty much tell when I miss, and I'll tell you like, oh, that's in a couple boards, oh, that's on 7, oh, that was way out there on 3, you know. So I can still see, my vision's still good, so it's cool to see the specto kind of back up what I'm talking about sometimes. But no, I don't strike all the time,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and the best part to your videos is the commentary.
I'm a yapper.
Talking while you're throwing the ball, and you're giving us stellar commentary that is sometimes I'm literally laughing out loud watching them.
That's the whole thing. Okay, so like you can watch anybody throw a bowling ball good on the lane, right? And being in front of camera is not for everybody, you know, and being able to yap and make it make sense and try to educate. So I try to turn everything into like a learning experience. You know, hey, okay, it's not striking from here. Well, let's see what I can change. Let's see if I can change my tilt, see if I can change my ball speed. Here, what's the adjustment, everybody? And I'll talk to everybody like they're watching me live and try to make those adjustments on the fly. And I'm like, well, that didn't work, or hey, that works pretty well. So yeah, being able to just think on the fly and talk. And you know, I take breaks in videos sometimes where if like, you know, I need to come back to a thought, you know, so I have the 3 camera setup right now. So it makes it easy to do that if I need to gather my words, but it's pretty much even flowing. Like I don't take a lot of, you know, edits or anything like that where I have to cut. But it's a gift to be able to be in the front of the camera and actually have people watch. That's the thing. Like a lot of people want to be influencers. They want to be ball reviewers, and it's like, all right, well, show me what you can do. And it's like, you know, to get consistent views and have people watch for a while and consistently over the years, it's hard to do.
Have you reached out to Nate and Elise for any help on how to grow your channel?
They actually reach out to me all the time. I talk to Elise all the time. I actually had to yell at her today because she didn't know how to schedule a video. So one of her reels got out there about 3 hours too early, so had to slap her on her wrist.
I had to bring it up because I'm friends with both of them. So I know the little rivalry between y'all. So it's fun to watch.
Well, yeah, because you know, we had this race to 33,000 subscribers a while back.
Yeah,
and she was just yap. I'm gonna catch you. I'm gonna pass you. I'm gonna get there first. And she was like within 100 of 33,000, and I had like 200 and something to go. So she'd passed me, and she was almost there. And she was busy bowling some tournament or something like that. I don't know what she was doing. So I decided I was going to go live on YouTube and basically beg for new subscribers.
That was brilliant. It was brilliant.
And it took 3 hours and something minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you'd have to twist too many people's arms.
Well, to get 200, that's a lot.
I mean, yeah, but you're BrunsNick,
so as soon as I hit the number 33K, I called Elise, or I FaceTimed her actually, and told her, I was like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, coming back from a tournament. I was like, that's cool. I was like, I'm just calling to tell you something. She's like, what? That I hit 33,000? I was like, no, I hit 33,000. She's like, what? How'd you get there? I was like, I went live for 3.5 hours. She started laughing. I was like, you're never going to beat me when I want to beat you or something. So she's long gone now, I'm sure. But I think I always
they're actually a couple couple thousand ahead of you right now, so you got a little bit of work to get your crown back.
No, I always ask them because, like, I always ask them what website they're going to buy all those subscribers because, like, I want to get a good deal someday too. It's like there's no way they're getting it legit because it's like, come on, he at least isn't that likable, and Nate's too quiet. So
He is pretty quiet.
He is
right.
quiet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Smooth bowler though. I love watching. I love watching Nate bowl.
Looking back, do you think being like an early content creator helped you build your brand of BrunsNick more so than if you'd waited until the last few years to start content creating? Because there's so much out there now and so much availability, it's hard to get in the algorithms. Yeah. So you were probably already fresh in the algorithms before anybody else was. So do you think that was a big proponent to creating your brand?
That's a good question. I think channel age does help a little bit. I think if people remember you, I think people did remember me a little bit, so that's why when I start every video, how do I start every video? BrunsNick's back, because I was gone for a while and now I'm back, and that's just been my sign on to every video now. So I think having the not notoriety, but just legitimacy of being in the industry and working for Brunswick. And there's still some people out there that don't even know I work at Brunswick, even though I film in Brunswick HQ all alone in a private center, and I get every single new ball. So there's been people along the way. Oh, you're just a shill. Why don't you tell people you work for Brunswick? I was like, well, I thought it was self-explanatory with BrunsNick, and I've never been shy about saying, hey, I've worked for Brunswick since 2010. I've been on staff with them since 2003, but I like I said, I thought it was self-explanatory, but this is the internet and it's 2025 and nothing is self-explanatory anymore because common sense isn't. So
and people literally, oh, there you are, the goat. I called you the goat the other day and somebody was like, he's the goat. And I was like, yes. In my opinion, the goat.
It's such a double entendre just because the Purple Hammer is the goat as well.
It is the goat. But I wanted to tell you personally, there's 3 people that influenced me to roll Brunswick, because I used to roll whatever I wanted. And then I switched to all Brunswick 2 years ago, and now I'm back to rolling whatever I want 2 years later. But you, Marshall Kent, and my friend Darren Barlow from Ace Mitchell, Classic Bowling Supply, all 3 of you in some way, shape, or form. And I told Marshall Kent this when I met him at Nationals a couple years ago, when he got the track archetype, and I watched his video. And then with you is anything hammer. I'm obsessed. I've had every single hammer ball the last few years that have come out. That's 90% of what's in my equipment back here. I'm in love with the hammer equipment. So, and you're the reason I got the Hammer Effect Tour. The ball is dynamite. I'm
about to drill that. I just got one from Chuck Ritchie, so I'm about to get that one drilled. Everybody loves that ball.
There's a kid out of New York that just shot 898 with that ball.
I saw that.
298, 300, 300. And then we just had a 900 last night in Sacramento, California. Andrew Granite.
I saw that.
Ebonite real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I woke up to that. Those videos on Facebook and Instagram, Ebonite, probably over 1 million views already, something like that.
And only 40, is it only 40 people entirely ever have shot 900? So now he's a part of that pact?
Something like that. Yeah, I think he was the 40th or he was the 41st. I'm not sure how he worded it. He's like only 40 people before me, or I'm the 40th. I couldn't tell exactly, but
so we can't call AJ Rice Mr. 900 anymore. That's sad.
Yeah. Well, you bought your first pro shop in 2008, and then you bought another one 3 months later, correct?
Yeah, it just happened to work out. So my boss, Bugsy Kelly, had a shop about 20 minutes from me. We grew up bowling juniors together. We actually had the same birthday. He's just 2 years younger. And he took a job with USBC. So he was going to relocate to Texas. So he had to sell his pro shop. And I think we were at a trade show. And he's like, hey, I took a job with USBC. I'm going to be leaving in September or August or something. Would you be interested possibly in buying the shop? And I was like, yeah, we can sit down and have a talk. And I just bought this one, but why not? Let's expand the empire already, right? I mean, looking back, would I have done the same thing? Probably not. But at the same time, I mean, it's a fun experience. And who knows if the things would have aligned the same way if I didn't have a second shop. So I'll just keep it as it is. And but I got to learn a lot of new things about the business as far as actually having employees and having to have workman's comp and have to have all that liability stuff that goes along with it, and how much money that actually costs to have an employee. Holy moly. So mind you, we're still in California too. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was basically having one shop open just to pay another guy. I wasn't making any money on it. So
Did you ask Robert Smith for any help? Obviously, because he's a pro shop guru.
I did not. I hired a guy named Jim Brewer. He's an old school guy. He used to do lanes back in the 80s, and very, very competent and very knowledgeable bowler and ball driller. So very quirky guy too. Very quirky, but I like Jim a lot. I hope he's doing well.
And you bought that second shop from Bugsy Kelly.
I sure did.
Now he's your boss.
Yeah, with full
So
circle.
how is your relationship today now that he's your boss versus not your boss? Well, you bought the shop from him. So how is your relationship with Bugsy Kelly?
Oh, it's all good. So we kind of run a pretty, not a tight ship, but we have a very understanding of what our roles are. I'm in charge of the social media. He's in charge of the entire marketing. And, my work is out there for the public to see on a daily basis. So he knows if I'm doing it right or not, because I got to show my work every day.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we have a good professional working relationship. We also have fun because, I've known him basically my entire bowling life. So we have fun. And I think that's the main thing there is like, we're all bowlers there. And we all know that being profitable for the company is number one, but it's okay to have fun too. And if you're not having fun at your job, come on, I make social media videos and write posts for a living for bowling, and I do pretty well. So I'm pretty happy camper. I'm fine with what I do. Couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah.
Can I ask you?
Sorry, Rob, go ahead.
Can I ask you why pro bowlers are the worst about marketing themselves? Like they're not very good at social media. We have a handful, and I won't name. We know who they are, but it's all out there, man. You're your own brand. You're essentially an independent contractor. You would think they would use social media more to help promote themselves in the sport.
I think it comes down to just not being consistent. And some people have tried, but they never stick to it. It's like, they probably caught wind, like, hey, this could be lucrative. This could be a great thing, but they never follow through. That's the main thing is like, they just want to get paid for doing nothing. They just want to be paid for doing, the bare minimum, just go out and bowl. And they want to be bowlers, basically. They don't know. They figure it out, but to make content for a living or to do social media full time, especially making videos. And then once you figure out the editing, like it takes a lot of time and most people don't have the skill set to do it.
Right.
To actually film, edit and post a video, make the thumbnail, write the copy, and then get traction and hope people watch it. It's not an instant win game. Like it's a slow burn, and it takes time to build an audience and actually, build up, like some people do it right and they hire people, but that costs money. There's just, how big do you want to be and how much out of pocket do you want to be for how long?
Right.
So the investment's just not there. And why pro bowlers don't do it more, I don't know why. I think it would be a great consulting gig to do it for them, but there's only so many hours in the day, and
it's true.
They got to be able to put in the work too. They got to go into the bowling alley when they're not on tour, and they got to be in there doing the work and all that other stuff. So I don't know why.
I think some of them expect their bowling to do the talking for them. If they're really good bowlers, they just expect to have the following and expect that it's going to stay there and nothing else is going to come about that's going to be better and grab more attention. So,
but you want to grow the sport. And using social media is a great way to do it, especially with reels. And my wife will doom scroll for hours. People have a short attention span. They just want to see something that catches their eye. And some guys like Belmo and Troop and other guys are starting to use that more. Even Pete Weber's on Facebook now making posts every day. So, it's, anybody can do it. And I do understand, Nick, because doing it myself, it does take a lot of time and it's a lot of work. And there might not be an ROI on it, but it would still help at least get eyes on the sport. Cause that's what it's all about. Because, you know about the decline in numbers and all that. So.
Yeah, a couple of guys have done it pretty well. Simonson's done it. Andrew Anderson's done it. But they've had help. They've had help with videographers and editors.
Or
you
just
know?
PDOM, just do Trip 4 Tuesday. I mean, it's just stupid stuff like that, right? Like, I mean,
Example.
Yeah, like I got Robert Smith to start doing it some more. He started after he visited Brunswick last year, and then we did a couple of walk and talk videos with him, kind of set up how I like to do them. You know, he started going and doing them at home and doing live when he was going bowling league and stuff. And his channel grew pretty good. He's just doing it all on his own. I'm like, that's great. You just got to be consistent at it. When the new balls come out, just you got to be out there and filming them. It's just like it's a grind. I get it, and it can be monotonous. And some days you don't want to show up, but you got to do it because if you miss a beat, you know, people are gonna forget about you pretty quick, and you just lose your place in the algorithm too because
it's hard.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
algorithms suck. And I just want to pick your brain just because I've noticed like pro bowlers just don't, as opposed to other athletes, don't really promote themselves as much as I think they could.
Yeah.
I think when you're talking about other athletes, you know, it costs money to do that.
It's a
kind
money
of
thing.
stuff.
You're right. I'm sure they don't do it themselves.
They don't do it because they can't afford to pay people to do it for them. Like,
Right.
you know, a pro baseball player or pro tennis player, somebody, just anybody, a golfer, you know, they probably have a team of people working for them to do all that stuff. There's no way they're doing it on their own. I mean,
That's a good
very
point.
well could, but it just, you know, there's only so many hours in a day, and just comes down to, you know, they just need a push or they're just lazy. I don't know. They don't want it. You can't make them do something. It's just like
It's true. That's a good point. That's fair.
Well, before Rob asked that question, I had a question. I wanted to know, what was it like transitioning from California to Michigan?
Oh, yeah. So I didn't own a winter coat. You don't need to own those in California unless you're a snowboarder or skier.
Right.
The only times that I'd visited here prior to moving and prior to house shopping, I should say, were for our annual meetings we had always here in Muskegon or Grand Rapids. And they were always in December or January. And so my only knowledge of this part of the world was cold winter snow. That's all I knew, blizzards and all that. So
that's pretty accurate.
Oh, yeah, we're about to get there. We just had snow a couple, you know, for the last 2 days.
Yeah.
So this is our false winter that we have every year. But what I found that I actually like more about Michigan than California is it's a lot slower pace. People are generally a little nicer. It's quiet. It's pretty quiet. And the state of Michigan's a lot greener than I ever would have thought it was. Like, this state is entirely green, you know, during the nicer months. So California is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty deserty. People don't know, like, the entire central California is pretty flat and just farmland for as far as eyes can see. And then you got mountain ranges, and, you know, driving through it can be a challenge sometimes. So
Only bowlers.
Someone needs to make something called Only Bowlers.
Only bowlers. And I mean, I guess he means something like OnlyFans, but for bowlers.
yeah, $4.99 a month. I don't know if anybody would pay that. I don't know. You said you were a fangirl earlier. Maybe be my first customer, huh?
Wait, are you talking $4.99 or $499?
No, $4.99. $4.99. Come on.
Oh, I mean,
$5 a month. You can't beat that.
Yeah, I'll wear a tank top one video.
If it helps me bowl better, whatever it takes, I guess. I've been at a struggle bus lately, and I'm driving it. So
you just need to, you know what you should do before you bowl? You should just close your eyes. I need you to reset and rise, and then I heard that might be a good way to do it.
Yeah, no pun intended. I should do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I will. I mean, I have I listened to a song by the singer artist NF, and it's called Pandemonium. Mm-hmm. And I listened to that song before every tournament I bowl. I listen to it. It's got the lyrics are great, and it's kind of a pump you up song. Mm-hmm. So it's really great. And then lately on the way to league, we've been listening to Scatman.
Oh my, that's no wonder why your brain's garbled. Are you kidding me?
Right?
But it's
no wonder why your mental game is in the garbage. Like, man, that's what like a 7-year-old hears when his mom gives him Mountain Dew and some Doritos.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have some like bowling rituals. I don't drink while I bowl. I don't vape. I don't go talk to people and just spend all my time before bowling talking. Like I kind of just sit there and mentally get myself prepared. I think my problem is, like I was telling Rob, I really, really suck at league. There's no denying that. I'm not going to lie about it or sugarcoat it. Tournaments is what I like, because if there's some money to be made at the end of it, I am all for going all cylinders and making sure I am ready to go and I am paying 100% attention to what I'm doing. League, I think I overthink a house shot, and they've changed the house shot from last year, so I'm still trying to kind of figure it out. But I also have this problem of I get a ball that I like and I don't want to change and my ball at all. But I recently acquired 4 new balls. And so I'm trying to figure out those balls for upcoming tournaments I have, because there's one tournament I go to once a month and it's on string pins. And now I've gathered the last year and a half at bowling at that house in Mountain Home, Idaho, strikers. Their topography there is pretty consistent across the board. So you don't have one end from the other that's completely different. And the string pins have definitely been a challenge, but it's been a good challenge for me, because then when I go back to league, I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad. I actually have decent, legitimate carry. The last tournament I went to, I had some stuff that I'm like, I don't think I should have got that, whether it be not getting a strike or getting a strike, but to each their own. I mean, I just like bowling in general, and I like getting equipment and testing it out, messing with surfaces. And like I said, watching your videos has really helped me as a bowler kind of learn that. And I've followed Ron Hicklin with Creating the Difference, who used to be with Ebonite. And he's also very good to listen to. I visited their facility last November, almost a year ago, actually. Visited their facility and learned a lot with that as well. And he actually brought you up because we were talking about you when I was visiting. So very knowledgeable.
I think I can fix your league bowling issue.
A Sarge Easter good? I'm just
no. I think I can fix you. And okay, so your mental game is sharp when you're bowling tournaments, right? You're tuned in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to give yourself a reason to be accountable during league. And maybe what you need to do is set up a camera and film your league sessions so that you have something to answer for.
I have brought that up. So I've said to my boyfriend, I think I'm going to take my tripod tonight and I'm going to film us. He's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, if you look online, all of my friends that are bowlers on social media and the East Coast and in the South, they all, like most of them, 90% of them film themselves live while they're at league.
Yep.
I don't do mine live.
Or they do it live on Facebook, or they put it on YouTube, and it's literally live. They'll do their league. And I think it's fun to watch other people have glorious moments or struggle, because we're all human. And then kind of see what their styles of bowling are, what their pre-shot routine is. So I brought that up. I'm like, I should just film us while we're bowling tonight. And he's like, I don't think so. I'm like, what if it's not live? But the thing out here is when I have brought a tripod into the bowling alley to film reels, I get so many looks like, what is she doing? People, when I was filming reels, I had an agreement with one of the bowling alley owners. As long as I'm creating content and doing reels, $1 per game for practice. Okay,
nice.
Deal. I'll promote your bowling alley, promote the balls, Brunswick, whatever, deal, game on. And people would just give me the most awkward looks. They had no clue what I was doing. And then I'm over there like, oh, delete that one. That's terrible. Or the lighting would be off, or because, I wasn't professional. You can watch some of my reels and see I'm not professional.
Yeah.
And then I took my tripod to this little 8-lane, it's almost like a fun zone center bowling alley here local in Jerome. And I have one video I made where it's a side shot, because somebody that is a backup bowler in Florida wanted help. And so she's like, I need to see from the side exactly what you're doing so I can compare to what I'm doing. So I made one. I ended up making it a reel, and it got tons of views.
That's a great reel.
Like over 2,000 views in like 24 hours. Nice. So I posted it, and the owner there that day, she had a bowling pin up at the counter, and she's like, can I get your autograph on this pin?
Yeah, you're a celebrity. In Idaho, you're like, you got a
I'm like,
horn growing out of your head.
My autograph. I'm like, okay. She goes, well, you're good, and we don't get people like that in here very often. And you made a reel, and you supported our bowling alley. And I'm like, Sure. And she goes,
All right.
she's like, you're pro, you bowl tournaments? And I'm like, yeah, I bowl a lot of tournaments. I haven't. So she still has the pin at the front desk with my signature on it.
Beautiful. That would be a great idea for a video series. Just fly around the country, bowling in different centers, just showing up and ask them like, hey, do you mind if I film some videos here? And then just like start doing reviews and just
I might
talking.
need to find a sugar daddy first just to pay for my travels.
That's
and
fair.
have an agreement that there's nothing other than I'll be your friend, you give me money.
Better go knock on boyfriend's door and have a little discussion tonight.
Onlybowlers.com/Amanda
Yeah,
Moore.
Onlybowlers.com. Yeah.
Only $9.99 a month.
We'll do that. Yeah.
Just send an autographed 8x10 portrait.
Oh gosh. Well, I
remember,
say you relaunched your YouTube channel in 2023, right?
I did, yeah.
And you went from 1,700 to 36,000 subscribers. Like, what clicked when you relaunched your YouTube at that point? What clicked for you to obtain that many subscribers in such a short amount of time?
What clicked? It was consistency. Okay, so I knew that if I was going to do it, I had to go full in. And I think that first year in 23, I started February 19th, I think was my Black Widow 2.0 hybrid video. That's the one I launched with. I knew I had to post a lot of content, a lot of long form content, because that was going to be it, you know, live talking in front of the camera and just figuring it out. I think I posted 180 videos that year or something like that. So it was just a lot. And when people were like, oh, hey, I want to start this YouTube channel, I want to start it up from nothing. It's like, all right, well, you got to show me what you can do, and then show me that you can do it for a long time, because that's what it's going to take. You know, some people will be like, oh, I'm just going to post, you know, one video a week, and that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be consistent. I was like, yeah, I'm like, it's consistent, correct, but it's not enough. Like, you're going to post 50 videos a year, you're going to get lost. You know, it's like, unless your videos are that good, and you're not Mark Rober, you know. So Mark Rober is like a tech, like he does these fun science videos. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. He posts like once a month because his videos take so long to produce. They're so involved that, you know, he's the one that did the glitter bomb Amazon packages, the porch thief. He's that guy. He did that where he had the cameras built into it. And with the fart spray and the glitter when they'd open it when they go back home. Yeah, so that's like my favorite YouTuber all time. But it just comes down to just getting the work done and making it good. Like, you got to make it sound good, you got to make it look good, you got to make it something that people want to watch. Those are the three things. Like, and you just got to do it all the time, and just, you're only as good as your last video. So figure out what works and what doesn't. And like, I started doing a lot of comparison videos. Like, I would compare every single ball just to get videos out there. But I learned that, one, they take a lot longer to do. Two, they take a lot longer to edit. And three, they get less views. So now I only do comparisons when it's usually like very popular bowling balls, like widows or hammer balls. Because for the most part, it's like it's very hard to get any kind of traction on a video like that. So you got to learn what your channel is all about and what your viewership tells you by the analytics. Because I've always said, like, you can do whatever videos you want, but if nobody's watching it, that's not what your channel is. Like, you can say, oh, I really want to do, I don't know, I want to bake cookies, right? And then nobody's watching your cookie baking, but when you cook a steak, all of a sudden your views go off the chart. They say, hey, buddy, you're a steak cooker. You're not a cookie baker. Those days are over. Stop doing that. Just focus on the steak, right? Don't worry about the cookies. And that's the thing. Like, some people are really good doing educational videos on bowling, right? And sometimes their ball reviews aren't that watched. You know, they're there because it's like, that's their foundation. But when they do an educational video, it's like 10 times the viewership. It's like, do more of that. That's absolutely, like, my best video of all time now is a comparison between 14 and 15. It's an educational evergreen video that'll be watched forever, because everybody who's ever gotten into bowling has had one question: what weight should I use? Mm-hmm. And so for most guys, and, you know, for most of my demographics are dudes, right? So it's probably like 94% on YouTube, something like that. So it's mostly guys going out there looking up YouTube bowling. So most guys will be like, what should I use, 14 or 15? So that video is going to pop up. But just figuring out what hits and what doesn't, and figure out why it hits, and then try to replicate it, you know? Thank you, George.
That is exactly my sentiments on Nick. Yes. So speaking of podcasts, let's talk about the Perception versus Reality podcast. How did that collaboration with Phil start?
So Phil used to go live about like once every other month, and it would just be to talk about the new balls. So when Radical released new bowling balls, he'd go live. I'd facilitate it for him. So, you know, if you look at some of the very early live Radical videos that Phil did, you know, he had this was his camera angle like this, right? It was basically the camera was down, looking at like this, you know, like pretty much how every old person's Facebook photo is. So it right when I launched my YouTube again in 23, he's like, hey, what do you think about, you know, because I was starting to jump on these live streams with him to help him with the chat and all that stuff. And then he's like, well, what if we did this like every week? And I'm like, just do like a full show every week? And I'm like, what would we talk about? And he's like, I don't know. You think we'd run out of topic ideas? I was like, no, I don't think so. Like, we could just figure something out. I'm like, there's going to be, I broke it down. I'm like, well, there's going to be new bowling balls every month. So we'll have something to talk about every month for at least 1 week. And then we can do something educational. And then the show evolved. You know, the beautiful thing is the bowling industry gives us a lot of the topics that we need to talk about. And it's been a lot that started with the whole Purple Hammer and urethane on the PBA tour. Mm-hmm. So we were very vocal about that, and we backed it up with data, because that's what we do. We test stuff, we show the numbers. We don't just say it for the sake of saying it for argument's sake, because we oppose whatever rules they come out with, because their testing procedures were skewed and invalid. That's just the bottom line. But it's grown to the thing where now we have this captive audience every week. You know, we have these little intricacies about our show. You know, we have this wheel spin that we've added and changed things on, and now we put a whammy on the wheel. So now, you know, we got the whole chat like rooting against the people, like, oh, whammy, 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 you know, because they want to pick another winner. And things have just grown. I want to be the first guy to get a whammy.
Somebody actually asked if you were going to bring the wheel on here tonight.
I did see that comment. And Craig, yeah, he was whammy number 7 or 8 of the show. You know, so whenever we get a whammy, I take my Sharpie out and I put a little notch mark on the whammy. And Miguel was the actual first whammy, so we call it the Miguel whammy. That's kind of a thing. But little things like have always stood out. Like there's a garbage truck that comes by his work, and it's really loud. You hear the backup beep beep. And so for a while there, we were like, all right, everybody, we're taking bets on what time slot do you want? You think that the truck's going to be here this week? You know, so the whole chat would light up with times. It just became a whole fun thing, and it's just kind of grown where, you know, we have a rhythm now. And like some weeks it's like, well, what do you want to talk about this week? I'm like, I don't know, you pick something. He's like, oh, you pick something. I'm like, all right, I'll let you know what it is. And then he'll pick something. And I'm like, oh, it's a terrible topic. Why would you pick that? You know, but it's like we've always had that banter back and forth. It's just been easy. Like we don't script anything. You know,
and you guys are 125 episodes in. Is that correct?
Tomorrow's our 125th episode. Yeah. So we're talking about new bowling balls tomorrow. We'll have Brian Buckosh on tomorrow to talk about some of the cores. He designed the core in that new Zero Mercy. And he's going to be there to talk about the core in the Heckler Hybrid, which is a two finger, no thumb specialized core. So yeah, sometimes we have guests. We don't do a lot of guests. Like our podcasts are a little bit different where, you know, Phil and we've had bad luck with guests and their connections. And I know you probably have too, where they get on and their internet cuts out or whatever. It's hard, you know, and we found that out with Bobby Brust at the booth one year. You know, he was in Reno. I forget what year that was. I guess 24, 23. I don't remember. 23 sounds right. And he was bouncing around from the shop trying to find service because there's no service in the shop there. And so every time he come back on, he was in a different place. And then one time he was in the back room with the storage. One time he was out on the shop floor. and they've just become like a where in the world is Carmen Sandiego thing. It's like, oh nope, he's on the stairs now.
We had
But
that with Joe Pogrips, Rob. Like
I watched that
They
episode.
did. They were in their
Cut out.
warehouse.
yeah, they were in their warehouse and they kept cutting out and they had to stop. And then they ended up just in another room. And we still had some issues, but we trudged through that one fine.
They need a direct plug in their landline to the router on that next time.
Yeah, they were still
That's
good guests. They, it was still enjoyable and did a great job. So
They should have opened a window in the warehouse and let the Wi-Fi kind of come in a little better.
yeah, I guess so. Well, looking back at everything from bowling as a kid to leading Brunswick's digital presence, what's been the biggest lesson that you've learned throughout your career so far? Told you I had burning questions for you that I've been wanting to know for a while.
The biggest lesson I've learned is that no matter what you do in this industry, there's going to be haters, and you might as well just do what makes you happy. They're going to hate on you anyway, and so make that a driving force. So, I have so much just dedication and motivation to just do it better. That's the main thing is always evolving, always doing things, thinking of new things, new ideas, but also just kind of not gloating about it. Just do your work, stay quiet, because for the most part, people aren't going to care. There's gonna be a lot of people that watch your videos and love your videos, but at the same time, no one's inviting me to galas or balls or anything like that. It's just, I'm going to show up quietly. I'm going to do my work. I'm going to put my head down, and then I'm going to go back. Like when I'm in the office 9 to 5 or 8:30, 8 to 5, whatever time I get there. I don't talk about BrunsNick. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. That's after hour stuff. I film everything on the weekend. I do all my edits at night. Like right when we're done with this, I'm going to start editing another video. It's going to launch tomorrow. And it'll be the same thing for every day this week. So that's the other thing people don't take into account. Like, okay, well, we just launched 5 new bowling balls. All right, well, I got to edit 5 new ball videos this week, and all the other stuff I have. Another league video is going to come out, and a challenge video is going to come out. So it's a whole week full of just editing after a whole day of work. So that's the other thing. Like, it's just, you got to show up and do it, or else no one's going to do it for you. And I'm not going to pay anybody to do it, because that's like, I like to not share my pie. Like a big apple pie guy. Yeah. I'm not going to share a slice. Like, no, thanks.
What do you do? I've always been curious. What do you do with all of the bowling balls that you're given? Because you get one of every new ball that comes out.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I have this industrial rack I got from Costco, and they are all currently still sitting on that rack and the floor around it because I ran out of room. So I get that question a lot: is what do you do with all the bowling balls? Do you give them away? Do you do this? Do you that? And I tell people, I'm like, well, they're not my bowling balls. They belong to Brunswick. So it's policy that we can't give them away, because if everybody at Brunswick gave every single bowling ball away, like locally or wherever, we just flood the market with all these used bowling balls, and it might hurt shops trying to sell new bowling balls. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's not an answer that people like, but the bowling balls get destroyed, so they have to be, because it's just that many bowling balls. Like I don't even know the number at this point. I'm coming up on my third 3 years now of doing it. So there's probably like 150 to 200 bowling balls back there on that rack and around the floor. So if I were to just put those in the market right now, like, are you kidding me? That would cause a rebellion around town. So, and they knew it would be mine, and they'd be so tired of plugging Sarge fingers with a vent hole.
Right.
For anybody that's ever plugged any hole with a vent hole, they know to pay attention if there is a vent hole, because that plug will come right out and run out all the side of the ball.
Yeah. Well, what advice would you give to someone who wants to make a career out of bowling, like whether on the lanes or behind the scenes?
Yeah, gosh, that's a tough one. I mean, if you want to get it in bowling, you got to be able to show that you can do the work beforehand. Like it's getting started, and having that portfolio ready and get noticed. If you can get noticed without actually working in an industry, then you have a better chance of getting hired. And that happens fairly often, with some content creators. They get job offers for sure, because if you're putting out that content for everybody to see, that's your portfolio. It's a working portfolio. You know, if God forbid I don't work for Brunswick someday, I'm like, people know what I can do and what I'm capable of. I don't think I'd have a problem finding any kind of work. You know, I can pretty much run any social media and edit any video you want, and I can probably do all that no problem. But getting started in bowling is just, you got to have a passion for it, and you got to be able to if you're looking for social media work, you got to be able to be good at it and be consistent at it and make stuff that people want to watch. You got to have an eye for it and be able to edit videos, and it's tough, you know. And the thing is with the industry is there's not that many jobs in the bowling industry because there's not that many companies. So there's only one of me. You know, I run the social media for all 7 brands, and I've been doing it since 2015. And back then we only had 3 brands, and when we bought Ebonite in 2019, all of a sudden, like, hey, 7 brands. How would you like to do 7 brands? And I was like,
Sure.
let's do it. Cool.
Yeah.
But no, it's a challenge. I've taken every challenge, and just the answer is always yes, because I know that there's always someone coming up that could potentially be better than I am, or come up and try to.
That's not true. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's possible, but I have to make myself indispensable, and you know, I'm always replaceable. I understand that. I don't have the ego of that, but you know, it's going to take 3 people to do my job. That's the thing that
It usually does.
Yeah.
I've run into the same problem.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you can replace me. It's going to cost you a lot more money.
That's right.
Yeah. So what's next for you? Any new projects or goals in the future for BrunsNick, or are you just kind of rolling with what you're already doing?
I'm kind of just cruising right now. You know, I set goals every year. I actually have my goals right in front of me, and some I'm going to hit, some I won't, but it's okay. Like when I do a year end kind of like a State of the Union type thing. So my 2025 goals for this year were to get to 40,000 subs, which I'm probably not going to get there unless I can get that whatever website that Nate and Elise are using to get their subs.
Maybe I'll reach out.
If you guys can reach out on my behalf, maybe just like, hey, so how you guys having all that growth? You know, what do you think we should do?
I'm literally going to ask Nate when we're done. I'm going to text Nate and ask him that, just to bust his balls.
Yeah, just be like, hey, what's that video? Do you have a coupon code for that website for all the subscribers? Do you have a referral code? The other goal was 150 videos, live long form videos, and then 5 million views was my goal on YouTube. So I'm probably going to come up short. I shouldn't say probably. I am going to come up short on the subs, which is fine. You know, I try to set lofty goals, you know, to try to get 1,000 new subs a month. That's kind of like the baseline. 1,000's pretty good. And the videos, I'm not sure where I'm at. You know, I don't pay attention. I don't like keep markers during the year. I just kind of do the workflow as I want to. And if I get burnt out or I want to take some time off, I just do. So there'll be some times where I've gone rogue for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, just because I need to. I need to just kind of clean the slate and recharge, because it's a lot of work. You know, and staring at a screen all that time on top of, you know, the normal work day. So. But it also has its advantages, you know, where, okay, yeah, I can't do it during work hours, which is fine. But coming on the weekends and having my own center to work with, you know, being able to use the facilities, lane machine, all that stuff, it's just such an advantage, and be able to not have to worry about, oh, can I get lanes this weekend, or are they having a tournament at the bowling center? Like, that'd be tough. And then having to haul all that gear around, it's a lot of gear. So, I know I have it a little bit easier than some, but it's also just me. I don't have any help, which is fine. I like doing it on my own, and I hope I can continue to keep doing it. So,
Well, we really appreciate you being on the show. Rob, did you have any other questions? The chat's been blowing up the whole time, so that's awesome to see.
I do. It's probably not the place for it. I do have a show of my own called Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I'd like to have you on that show, because I definitely want to get into the whole urethane gimmick, but this isn't the place for that, because I can talk about that for hours. But no, I think I'll save the bowling questions for a different time.
that's fine. Yeah, we can be a little more candid on that show.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have a cool mask though, like
Ocho,
Dr. Ocho,
like Ocho, Dr. Ocho. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I have
It's gotta
one.
be hot in the summer with that thing on. I gotta tell you, I'm trying
Yeah,
to do a show with
And he
that.
does a lot of outside. Yeah, he does it from his back porch. So I don't know how he does it, but I'm
Definitely.
glad. I didn't know you watch the show. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big JP
Well,
Jr. fan. We used to hang out a lot. He actually worked for Brunswick for a while there.
Yeah,
mhm,
yep, he did.
Yeah.
And his dad obviously has been entrenched since the beginning. So
He
Yeah.
is Brunswick. Johnny is Brunswick.
he literally is like it should just have his face on as a logo.
It really is him and Parker. I mean, those
Yep,
those two guys,
I love
Yeah.
Parker
like
too.
lefties
Parker's so good.
from Jersey. I tell
Yeah.
you.
Well, I have one last question for you because this is a podcast about mental health and strength and overcoming things. So my question is, do you ever have moments where you just feel completely overwhelmed or you feel like you're not doing enough or you could be doing more, or kind of where you just need a mental health check break from everything? And if you do or have had that happen to you before, how do you cope with that and kind of reset to go forward? Because you are in charge of so much.
I don't typically get overwhelmed with the work part of it. It's mostly outside influences, personal life type stuff, relationships, whatever that have kind of an impact. And it has affected things over the years with being so involved in this and being so dedicated to doing, work on top of work, basically for, the sake of doing it. So, feeling burnout, I think that's common in this racket. It's when you do it day in, day out. You have to love your job, because if you don't love your job and what you're doing, then you might as well not even do it.
Mhm.
But as far as like the burnout from bowling, I'll take a break here and there, and I don't bowl league during the summer, so it's just doing kind of videos. So it's kind of like a little bit of an off. But I don't ever really feel overwhelmed. I don't do this every weekend. I don't film every weekend. I'm very mindful to know when my body says, "Hey, let's just chill this weekend. Let's go do something fun. Let's go to the beach instead." Or sometimes I'll do both. Like, hey, why don't we just get these videos done, get them filmed. Let's go to the beach for a few hours, relax, and then we'll come back and see how we feel.
Mhm.
But it's mostly like the ups and downs of just personal life. I live in Michigan. My family all lives in California still, so I don't get to see them very often. So that's kind of the drain that I see, is just feeling alone sometimes away from family and friends that I grew up with, and just personal things. I've been single a year now, so the dating life's kind of a up and down as well. So it's like you never know who's real, who's not, and whose intentions are good, and you just try to keep your head up and stay positive. But some days, like, you just feel like you don't feel good enough some days, and some days you feel great. And then some days you worry about, hey, is this even like resonating with people, or people even caring? Does it matter? Like, am I even having fun at this anymore? So there's all those questions that go by, but at the end of the day, I'm eternally grateful for where I am in my life, and the station I am in my life, and for what I have. So I'm very blessed in that sense, and that's why I wake up the next morning and shake it off and take a hot shower and get back to work. Because at the end of the day, like, I want to retire younger than the normal retirement age. I want to work my, can I say ass on the show? Can I
Yeah.
work my
Sure.
ass?
You just did. So, I mean,
Yeah, work my ass off in my 40s, and then retire sometime in my 50s. So that's the plan.
Cool.
And who knows? Maybe I still do videos after that time, and maybe I don't. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if people want to listen to a 55-year-old BrunsNick that keeps saying, "Like, we know you're back. You've been back for 15, 20 years. Like, we got it. You're back. We get it. Go away." Yeah,
Well,
who's this codger trying to tell me what ball to get? Like, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
just wait till they give me the okay to throw all the brands in my videos. That'll be fun, right?
Yeah, for sure.
that's a lot. That's a lot of videos, dude.
Competitor brands too. I'll just order them in. Like, wait till they give me the okay for that. It's like,
Yeah.
you think I'm a shill now? Like, oh man, you think that'll ever be? How could that ever come over? Like, oh, they would never take me serious. But
Well, we really appreciate you. I especially appreciate you being on the show this week. We were supposed to have a different guest, and we had a last minute fill in. So I really appreciate you.
Thanks for being plan B, brother.
Yeah, thanks for being plan B. But
you're very welcome.
You were plan A, but not till January.
Yeah.
And then this opportunity arose. So you were gracious enough to join us a couple months ahead of time. So
well, just know that the only place where A comes before B is in the alphabet. So here at Brunswick, we show up for our people, and we can't speak for everybody else in the industry, but when we say we're going to do something, we stick to it.
Yeah. One of the reasons I love the brand the most. So anyways, we really appreciate you. We'll let you go. And I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in and for you promoting the episode tonight as well on your channel. And we'll all, I'm sure, that are listening in continue to watch and follow BrunsNick and all his bowling ball adventures.
Let's see if I lost any subscribers during the show or not. Hold on.
I do have an answer from Nate.
Oh, it actually went up. It actually went up. 36,018. Like, I think I was 36,005 when it started. That's good.
I do have an answer from Nate. He said it's a better version of the site you bought yours from.
Yeah, see, they like to say that. Like, that's so unoriginal. It's like, come on. It's like, just say, hey, like, you like watching paint dry, Nate. Come on. But no, I've helped them grow their channel quite a bit. You know, Elise and I talk about strategy all the time. You know, and sometimes I have to question her. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with your videos? Like, I get what you're trying to do. You know, it's like, for instance, like, and I had asked her last month, I was like, okay, I got a question. I was like, why, when you put a new Brunswick ball out there, any of our brands, you have Nate in the video throwing Storm, right? Why are you putting Storm balls in a Hammer video? Why are you having him bowl? You know, you got to think, like, if somebody's looking to get this new ball, right? They're interested in, say, the new Zero Mercy Solid, right? And they have to sift through someone throwing a Storm ball for half that video. Like, I'm clicking off. I don't know about you, but I'm out. Like, I just want to learn about this ball and that ball only and get to it. And, you know, like, having too many people on a channel can be distracting sometimes too. That's why I rarely ever have any kind of collaboration or guests or anything. People are like, oh, well, what if somebody else throws the ball? I want somebody to throw it like this or that. And I was like, well, then go find a channel that throws it like this or that. I can only throw it like me.
You know, watch the house bowling. Yeah.
This is the BrunsNick channel. That's me. So, you know, come here to have a laugh, watch some bowling balls, get some data, and then smash that subscribe button and get out. And I'll see you tomorrow night at 6 p.m. That's what I usually do, you know.
Well, we appreciate you. We'll let you go. We know you're busy, man, and you got to edit some videos, as you said. So we'll let you go. And we'll be in touch. But thanks so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, and I'm glad I can do it. And Rob, we'll talk about doing the other podcast there soon.
For sure. I'll keep it. Yeah, I'll get with you.
I know our emails don't jive, but we'll figure that out.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, Nick.
Take care, everybody.
All right. Have a good night.
See ya. Well, that was as entertaining as I thought it would be and informational.
Of course. He's such a personality. Yeah, he's a good dude.
He's a good guy.
We all have common friends too, which makes it fun too. So
well,
bowling is just that way. Like, bowlers are just the coolest people, right? Like, of any other sport. we're down to earth. It's a blue collar sport, you know, it's a working person sport. So and it's like a family, because, well, unless you get on social media and look at Facebook pages and trolls and shit like that. But bowlers themselves are usually like the best people to hang out with.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and him, the funny thing is I started following him, and I was literally posting a lot of my reels and everything else. And I was tagging BrunsNick, but he messaged me one day and he goes, if you make them public and you tag me, I'll accept the tag. It's like, oh, okay. So I just started tagging him, and I asked him for a few recommendations a few times on layouts, like this alert that I just got. I asked him, you know, for a recommendation on that, and he graciously gave me one. And I'm still trying to find my way with that alert. I had to change the surface on it a little bit for me, because I'm a lower rev rate player, but I've changed some things in my approach and throwing almost 16 miles an hour now, not seeing my balls the same way that I was a year ago. And a lot of things have changed in the last year. So, but he's super awesome guy. And then he put me on his YouTube channel, like I said, in that backup bowling video last August. And we've just been friends ever since, I guess. I mean,
that's cool.
He's super awesome. And then, I don't know, like he said with, you know, like JP Jr., you just meet these people in the bowling industry that the people I'm fortunate to know, they don't ever think they're above anybody else. They just think of themselves as another bowler that might know a little bit more, have more education, or have a little bit more experience, or maybe they're more tenured, or they've won some things that they can guide you along the way. But I don't think I think Chase Nadeau, when he was on our show, he said it best: if there's anybody that turns you down to be on your show, then they're not the person for your show, because nobody's too good to be on someone's show. So when I had some, I guess I was a little bit worried about asking. I had some reservations asking BrunsNick, because I was not sure. I did not want to get rejected, but he was very gracious and kind to come on the show. So
yeah, he really is. He's a great dude.
Yeah, he's a great dude. And
glad I got a chance to meet him.
He has the perfect mix of on his reels that he does, or his videos. He has a perfect mix of education and entertainment.
Yep.
Nothing like, for me, if I were to go and watch a video that's just straight up education on a ball or how to bowl, that to me is like watching paint dry, and I would check out in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But if you throw some entertainment in there, then I'm all for it. I'm going to stay and watch the whole thing. Even when he does his ASMR videos of drilling a ball, you watch it and you think that'd be boring, but it's just the way that he goes about it. Like, everything that he does is very captivating. Like, he's one that you want to follow. So if you're not following him, he is on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook. And then, like I said, he does the podcast Perception versus Reality podcast with Phil. Is it Cardinal or?
Yeah, Cardinal.
Okay, I didn't want to butcher his name, but they're an awesome duo together. They're fun to listen to and to watch.
They really are. They have a great chat too, and great followers. It's a lively bunch for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, anyways, next week we have another bowler, but different. Nolan Worley, and he is a Facebook friend of mine. He has Worley's Gutter Talk on YouTube, and he is all about promoting positivity in bowling and trying to bring the sport back in his area and give accolades where accolades are due to other fellow bowlers. We don't see enough of that. I mean, we see bowling companies, we see product companies, we see friends of people give accolades when people score high, or when they do something and they set a new personal record, or they do something they didn't think they could do. But Nolan's all about promoting everybody to be their best on the lanes. And Nolan is also another person that has become sober. He's suffered from alcoholism for 20 years. And I think he's almost 8 months sober. So he's another one. We had somebody I went to high school with a couple weeks ago that came on the show talking about sobriety. So Nolan's got a fascinating background, a fascinating story. And he said it best. He's rising. The Phoenix is rising, and he's a totally different person than he used to be. So I'm really thrilled to talk to Nolan next week and hear more about his story.
As am I. And guys, we do appreciate everybody, especially in the chat tonight. We appreciate everyone coming out and commenting, and it was a super fun show. Craig, thanks again. We got George, we got Craig, we have Mike Seabrook always in the house.
Yeah.
We appreciate all you guys and girls that watch the show. Where can they find us on social media and our podcast?
Yeah, so our podcast is on TikTok. We are on Instagram. We have a private Facebook group page where you can get daily motivational posts or encouraging posts along with event notifications. We are also on YouTube, obviously. If you'd like to hit the subscribe button and be notified of future episodes, that would be great. Or just subscribe so you can check out episodes that may intrigue you, and then follow along as we progress this channel. We have all types of walks of life on this channel with all different types of stories, from business moguls to professional athletes to people that have conquered sobriety, like I said, or people that have conquered mental health issues, and people in the industry that is promoting curtailing mental health issues, I guess you could say. So hit that like and subscribe button as well on this video. We would really appreciate it. And I really do appreciate everybody that follows and has continued to promote and support the podcast. We're 17 episodes in, and I think we are booked out to like 20 episode, like 25. So
that's awesome. That's so cool.
So we're continuing. If you know of anybody or you yourself have a fascinating story to share, you can reach us at resetandrisepodcast@gmail.com, or you can private message me or Rob and get with us. And we would love to talk to you and chat and get you on the show.
All right, y'all. We'll be back next week with Nathan Worley. Appreciate everybody showing up tonight, and we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Bye.